As this pace car scoots itself onto pit road, 1 hour of racing getting set to go green. We're up and away here at Daytona. Insurance in case of a bump and run. Checkered flag. Head Parker White will win here at USA. He won the race. Oh, here we go. Oh, Miller gets hooked. I can't believe it. This is crazy. The full wide. Here we go. The full wide for the lead.
To the lead into one. Oh, starting to shuffle towards the back. We're going to go 3 wide here to 3.
No, it's they won to the wall. It's 2011 again. And again, Grindle has checked himself out to a 1.5 second lead.
He's coming. Here comes Splash. Here comes on the bottom. And through the triangle they go. And after winning the dirt late model race last night, Carson Poindexter wins 2 in a row at Talladega.
One, 0. Welcome here live for the iRacing ACOG Mazda MX-5 series getting set to go green here for tonight live on ACOG TV. My name is Ezekiel Reyes, going to be your broadcaster here for tonight as we get set to open up this iRacing season. Here tonight we got the MX-5 Mazdas at the Okayama circuit, located in Japan, as we're gonna go ahead and dive in and see on what these drivers are doing here on the racetrack in terms of qualifying at the moment. But not many people showing up here for tonight. Doesn't mean there's not gonna be a race, because 7 cars is enough to host a good one, especially with these sets of this set of people for tonight. So I am very, very much excited to see on who will walk themselves out of here with their first ever victory in this iRacing season. But I want to give a quick shout out to Garrett Hess and Kilo Hankins for helping host up this session, as well as we're now looking ourselves 8 minutes left in tonight. But let's take a look at their fastest guys at the moment. Connor Trafari looks like the fastest man in practice, hit a 147.131, and that is an abysmal paint scheme, by the way, by him. That might be the worst piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. Apologies for my language, but you know, that is an awful paint scheme by Connor Trafari. But regardless, let's take a scroll through on a few other people as well here on this racing surface. So Cole Woody, aka Cole Pawkin, aka a few other people, and yeah, he's Cole Woody. He's running a paint scheme. I don't even know what this thing is. Is that a My Little Pony car? Oh, he too is just awful as well. So Cole Woody's in a My Little Pony car apparently. We're not gonna, you know, comment a bit on that, but see Garrett Hess here in his custom anime paint scheme. Take a look at that. I don't even, yeah, another anime paint scheme. Here dotting this grid as Kiloa Hankins, Kel Hankinator as they like to call him. That number 72 also on the racetrack running the same paint scheme as Cole Woody. So that should be a lot of fun to see on, you know, how that'll go. But Henry Tabor, aka Table Man, as they like to call him here, running this beautiful Monster Energy paint scheme machine. Probably the only paint scheme that actually looks like a paint scheme. So congratulations to Tabor for holding that title. But we still have yet to go through two more people, which is Scott Spanos, inning number 8, who is currently not on the racetrack, and Austin Runkle in this number 18 machine. That number 18 looks like a Coca-Cola machine. It's all right. It's a Coca-Cola car. That's all that matters. But in terms of best paint schemes that are obviously here on the racetrack, I think that will have to go to Henry Tabor in the number 43, who, by the way, made a nice speedy recovery. Hopefully for him, he does race on the real life side. We hope, I mean, I honestly don't know what his current status is after that Road America wreck up in Wisconsin. So glad to see Tabor here on the racetrack on the service. So good job for him, sir. Still logging in some few laps. And speaking of, he goes a bit off track, and I think that might be wraps for his things at the moment. But it looks like we got a surprise pole sitter at the moment. This number 3 of Cole Woody has decided he is an MX-5 dude, even though he comes from the oval side. Cole Woody deciding he wants to road race, and that number 3 machine on top of the board. So for Cole Woody, of course, pronounced oval guy. We'll take a look into his little road statistics. He's a 1700 I rating. He's alright. Anybody above like 1500 is pretty banger. But Garrett has something to say about that, and he logs in a faster time than him, but not by much. A 147.482 compared to Cole Woody's 147.499. So these top two very close with each other, and Contrafari only half a second back at the moment. So hopefully all these drivers can, you know, keep themselves steady and on pace, and try not to wreck it, because if you see a wreck, especially very early on, that would be a huge shame to see, especially with only 7 cars here on the racetrack. 4 minutes left in this Okayama qualifying session. Currently seeing Garrett Hess work themselves around, but at the moment, nothing too much to be said, because due to the fact that most of these drivers are ACOG regulars. We are, you know, nothing to see in terms of something, nothing in terms of seeing as something surprising. But maybe what might have been a bit of a surprise was Cole Woody, who's now dropped himself into 3rd position, as Connor Trafari in the number 9 has still looking for his first ever iRacing ACOG win. He might pick it up here tonight here at the Okayama circuit, but Cole Woody has something to say about that. He's worked himself to the top of the board. Oh my goodness gracious, Cole Woody has beaten Connor Trafari in terms of it. So with 20 minutes of this race, not a long time, by the way, these drivers are sure to put on one hell of a show. 3 minutes left in this qualifying session, as no update from anybody, as Austin Runkle, I think, is working himself around for, I think, his first lap. Alright, right, with 3 minutes left, and currently the only person on the racetrack at the moment is that number 72, Kilo Hankins. Okay. Yeah, Hankins, even though there's only 2 laps of qualifying, Hankins still wanting to get as much practice as he can to pull himself into this, but Hankins across the start-finish line for his 4th and unofficial lap. He's, you know, in terms of consistency, Kilo Hankins obviously can definitely win this event. So if Kilo Hankins keeps himself out of trouble, watch out for this number 72. But very surprised to see it on number 3, Cole Woody, in the top of the scoring pylon. 2nd place of Connor Trafari in P2, Garrett Hess, Henry Tabor, and Kilo Hankins is most likely going to round out this top 5. So, with that being said, Austin Runkle and Scott Spanos will not be able to log themselves in. But, of course, anything could happen, especially with a hectic restart. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I expect it to. Hopefully everybody keeps themselves clean, and we will have a race from this point on. Again, want to give a shout-out to our hosts for tonight, aka our in-race admins, Garrett Hess and Kilo Hankins, for helping run this show. But if you're now tuning in for tonight, ACOG iRacing Mazda MX-5 series here live for race number 1. You can still join for those of you who are watching this show here tonight. It is definitely not over for you to sign up, because we are all open throughout this whole entire season for these next 6 weeks. We will be running at the same time, around 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here live on ACOG TV. 10 seconds remain in this qualifying session as Cole Woody will pull himself to the top of the charts. So congratulations to this number 3. I'm very excited to go ahead and see what he's going to go ahead and pull himself a go here tonight as we transfer ourselves into race mode. This time by 7 drivers. We'll be able to duke it out. Just a small field, nothing too explosive or anything like that. But Cole Woody will be rounding out row number 1 alongside of Connor Trafari in the number 9. Row number 2 is going to be Garrett Hess and Henry Tabor. Again, Tabor Racing IRL. Row number 3 going to be Kilo Hankins in race admin Austin Runkle. Right alongside of him, you got Scott Spanos all the way in last. But Kilo Hankins is going to go ahead and pull himself onto the grid. And I think we are set to go ahead and keep ourselves to this green flag. We're just waiting on Kilo Hankins to grid himself up, and that will be it. Here we go from race number 1 of the season. ACOG MX-5 iRacing series is up and away. Green flag is out, and here we go. 7 cars to duel it out here for this opening round as the field works themselves into turn number 1. Cole Woody, and the number 3, winning the pole position, is going to easily pull himself by a few car lengths. He overshoots it. Oh my goodness, a horrible mistake by this number 3. But he goes dropping all the way to 5th, looks like 6th, all the way back to Austin Runkle. Oh my goodness gracious. Cole Woody, your pole sitter coming in here for tonight. Big mistake off of lap number 1. And he goes off, but bound for the lead, heading into this 3rd corner by the looks of it, up to the inside. Goes to the number 81 of Garrett Hess in race admin. Will easily take that spot from the number 9 of Connor Trafari, but right behind him, Road Series veteran at number 43, Henry Tabor, looking around in the mix as they are side by side for the lead. It's Trafari with the better line coming into this upcoming corner, this right-hander, and it seems as though he's also going to nose out ahead, but this draft is going to play a huge effect as Garrett Hess tries to hold out Henry Tabor, who might take it 3 wide, and Kiloa Hankins there, and that number 72 is also looking in the mix, but they all single themselves out into this upcoming corner, and Connor Trafari a bit wide there. Hess has to check up because of it, and Tabor is all over the backside of number 81 as they head into turn number 7. I think this is turn number 7, I'm not really sure, but regardless, they had themselves off 4 cars under a blanket, and you see Cole Woody in this number 3 kind of lurking right behind this whole entire mix. A costly mistake for this pole sitter, but we will have to see if he can maintain that position and pull himself forward. But right now, Connor Trafari, your leader. Garrett Hess in second, who's getting a handful of Tabor. Tabor just pressing that brake pedal and trying to stay off that number 81, trying not to hit him, because Garrett Hess and that booby machine is just awfully slow, and he's just, this draft is going to play a huge effect down here. And you see this number 9 of Trafari just going to the inside wall, trying to break the draft, trying to get Garrett Hess and that number 81 off of his bumper, but Trafari, big pull away right there by a whole second, but Trafari kind of wide through turn number 1. He'll keep himself steady for the time being. 10 laps to go, by the looks of it, as iRacing has calculated. And there are 17 minutes left in this session. iRacing has, ATVO has decided to go ahead and calculate the laps remaining rather than time remaining. So we do apologize about that for the, well, confusion. We will try to go ahead and maybe keep up a timing sheet maybe on the left side for this next broadcast. But for the time being, Connor Trafari, number 9, pulling himself away. Top 5, all under a blanket. It's Austin, looks like Scott Spanos and Austin Runkle, who's way off. Oh my goodness gracious, this 18 is just not having a good day. But that 18 goes way off the racetrack. We'll have to get an update on him, and he's gonna, unfortunately, be way off pace. 20 seconds behind last time we've scored around across the start-finish line, but Trafari holding himself strong for the time being. It's Garrett Hess in second. Oh, Trafari actually loose there. That car stepped off of him, and he's all the way to the inside grass just about. And here comes Garrett Hess. What is he going to do with this? Is that Fate Grand Order? If that is, that may be the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life. But regardless, Trafari holding himself forward, but Garrett Hess is putting on a lot of pressure. So top 2 now pull themselves closer together. And this number 43, Henry Tabor, is going to have to watch this battle right in front of him, but Hess is going to take a whiff up to the high side. Tabor blocks him out, but that car length closes down to a gap. I actually mixed up those words, apologies. What the fuck am I saying? But here comes Hess. Hess is going to look up to the high side. He has to jam on the brakes there for a moment because that number 9 is pulling some go-karting moves, trying to fend out this number 81. As right now, 15 minutes left in this race. iRacing has calculated 10 laps to go, but this top 2 still nose to tail, and right behind him, Henry Tabor and Kiloa Hankins trying to match these top 2's pace, who's now pulled themselves away just by a moment. But Garrett Hess is going to have a big run on this number 9. Where will Garrett Hess go? He's going to sniff himself to the high side. Yes, he will. Here comes that number 81 of Garrett Hess. He's going to go alongside the number 9 of Trafari. Trafari's going to have to hit the brakes early, maybe outbrake this number 81 of Garrett Hess, and indeed he does so. So for the time being, Hess will maintain the second spot, but Connor Trafari, a lot of pressure as Trafari actually goes wide. He gets into the grass just a slight bit, but he maintains order for the time being, and this will allow this number 43 of Henry Tabor to maybe close up on this gap just a slight bit. But Garrett Hess is putting a lot of pressure on this number 9 of Trafari, and here comes Tabor also into the mix. So if anything goes bad with this top 2, Henry Tabor is going to be pouncing, as well as Kiloa Hankins is number 72. So even though it's a 7-car race, 5 cars have a chance to win this event, coming here to 14 minutes left in this event. So the current top 5 is, oh, Trafari goes a bit wide, nips the grass there just a little bit off that final corner, but Trafari trying to break the draft here down the straightaway as he tries to keep this number 81 of Garrett Hess right in the mirror. But for the time being, he's doing a nice job at the moment, but that number 81 of Garrett Hess has been putting a lot of pressure on the 9 of Connor Trafari. But what kind of moves are going to be made in which is going to allow this number 81 to take the lead from this number 9? We're about to find out, because Garrett Hess looks like he might have a run coming up to this upcoming right-hander. Putting a lot of pressure. Garrett Hess late on the brakes into that corner. And Trafari, for the time being, he's holding that bottom side, not allowing Garrett Hess to get a run. But here he is, yet again, to the backside of this number 9. Trafari trying to weave the draft and break off this number 81. And it's not going to happen, but Garrett Hess is definitely there. He's going to hit the brakes early, maybe get a run off. And here comes Henry Tabor, also in that number 43, in the mix. Oh, Hess goes really wide, and here comes Tabor in the 43. And that's the last person that number 81 wants to see in his mirror, is the guy who might just be the fastest man on the racetrack at the moment. Is that number 43? We'll take a look at lap times here, because the last time by, that number 43 ran his fastest lap this whole entire session with a 146.9, and that was faster than qualifying time. So that number 43, Henry Tabor, is working himself up into this mix, and Garrett Hess's previous lap time of a 147 has opened up the gap between himself and Trafari. Trafari also running a 147, so it seems as though Henry Tabor has really turned up the nozzles, and he's pulling himself forward. But Garrett Hess, with an awful lap, unfortunately is going to be gapped here by this number 9, Connor Trafari. So Henry Tabor, if he wants to make quick work of this, the Tabor on the low side, some miscommunication there by the looks of it. That number 43, Henry Tabor, falls back to 5th. So the man who was fastest on that last lap has now fallen himself back all the way to 5th spot. Not very sure what has happened, unfortunately, to Henry Tabor, but across the line he scored 4th, but he drops back to 5th. So 8 laps to go at this time by, 12 minutes remain as Connor Trafari tries to hold off Garrett Hess and this charging field right behind, as Cole Woody in this number 3, who looks like he's going to work to the underside of this number 72. So Cole Woody, your pole sitter, trying to pull himself back to this top spot. We'll see if he can here across the line, or across into this corner. Cole Woody right alongside this number 72. Twin paint schemes here, as Hankins is going to be able to maybe undercut. Oh, by the looks of it, cannot undercut that number 3. So move Cole Woody from 5th now into 3rd, and that means Garrett Hess has the pole sitter right behind him. But with 8 laps to go this time by, everybody doing a nice job of just maintaining order at the moment. All this number 9 has to do is just hit his marks and just keep himself safe and hit his marks around this whole 2.5 mile racetrack. I think it's 2.5 miles. I'm not really sure. We'll have to pull it up. But regardless. Oh, big mistake here for Garrett Hess. He goes a bit off track, and he's trying to block. He gets turned hard into the wall. Oh my goodness gracious. Garrett Hess, his day is donezo. Oh my gosh. He tried to make the late block on Cole Woody, and Cole just decided, I've had enough. And that late block there on that number 81 has turned Garrett Hess into the inside barrier. That car is destroyed, and now that number 3 has a job to do to catch up on this number 9 machine of Connor Trafari. But the gap has pulled itself open to 3 seconds because of that one incident between that 3 and 81. So, with that being said, here comes Cole Woody in that number 3 into 2nd spot. Tabor has also tried. Looks like he's gonna go for 3rd place around this number 72 of Kiloa Hankins. But now Cole Woody has a job. Can he commit as a pole sitter to pull himself forward? But the man who is fastest in practice, that number 9 of Connor Trafari, a bit off track there. We'll see what kind of gap across the line they become, but at the moment, this number 3 of Cole Woody, unfortunately, that run for the win may be coming to a close, so all eyes are going to be on this 3rd place of Henry Tabor. If he could maybe, just maybe, catch this number 3 and make it a 2-horse race for this 2nd spot. Currently at the moment, now halfway through this MX-5 event, 10 minutes, actually less than that, make it 9 minutes and 10 seconds remain in this timed event, and we will see 7 laps to go at the line. Excuse me, 6 laps to go by the looks of it, as Connor Trafari tries to pull himself away, and this time he was 4 seconds to the good. So Connor Trafari extending that lead against Cole Woody, who's now slowly starting to fall himself back, and Cole, by the looks of it, cannot get any corner speed through that number 3 machine, and he's starting to slowly falter as, again, Tabor trying to do whatever he can to catch this number 3 of Cole Woody, but Tabor, ever since that issue on the front straightaway has folded him back into 5th spot, he has only crawled himself back into this 3rd place. So Tabor currently in a podium spot. We'll just have to see if he can maintain it, because that number 72, Kilo Hankins, has been harassing this number 43 for the past few laps. Just a matter of time in which will go into the favor of this number 43, but Hankins and this number 72 coming from Honolulu, Hawaii. I don't know if he's racing there at the moment. I think he's not. No, yeah, but it looks like he's not. Currently based at North Carolina, running this number 72 paint scheme. And he's looking around this number 43. Tabor coming in from, I think, I forgot where Tabor honestly comes from. Trying to remember off the top of my head, but it looks like I can't. Regardless, 2 people far and wide apart are going to battle for this 3rd spot, as this number 43 of Henry Tabor tries to hold off the Hawaii native of this number 72. He's that 72 of Kilo Hankins kind of stepped out into that first corner, trying to force the 43 into a mistake. Tabor really hiccuping here, as the 72 got a better corner that time. He was lower, but can he get a run off and capitalize on this number 43 of Henry Tabor? By the looks of it, no. And they maintain order for the time being, but Tabor a bit wide. Hankins looking down low, and all this time is being lost to Cole Woody between this battle for 3rd, as Cole, again, on an island of his own, as well as Trafari. We haven't really talked about him because he's in a 4-second lead now with 6 minutes remaining. And that should leave us about, I'd say, 3 laps of racing left in this mix. iRacing has calculated 5 laps left. I say otherwise because currently the clock has struck 6:12. Maybe make that 6:08. Regardless, we are coming down to the closing stages, and all Trafari has to do is just nail his corners down, and Cole Woody is going to do whatever he can to capitalize on this gap between himself and that number 9. But unfortunately, with only 5 minutes left, he's going to have to do a miracle and catch by 2 seconds between that number 3 and that number 9. But this battle for 3rd has been still hot, as Kilo Hankins and Henry Tabor do battle off of the final corner. Guys, we haven't really mentioned about Austin Runkle has disconnected from the session. Looks like he's called it quits, but Scott Spanos, currently, he too on an island of his own, currently 1 minute 17 seconds back by himself, running a race of his own and of attrition. All he wants to do is go ahead and finish out this race in cleanly, and this number 8 is doing just that, as Scott Spanos works himself into, I think this is turn number 4, all by himself. No harm, no foul, but he does have a bit of damage by the looks of it. Did nail the wall somewhere, but we got a pass for this 3rd spot by the looks of it. Henry Tabor has, I think, crossed over this number 72. We're gonna get a replay of what has shuffled in and about, and by the looks of it, Kilo Hankins was gonna pick himself to the high side and trying to outbrake this number 43, could not do it, and maybe a bit of contact between those two, and this battle for 3rd spot is still very, very hot. But Cole Woody has actually shut the gap to 3.9 from 4 seconds, so he's cut 2/10 off of Trafari's big lead. And was that a Trafari mistake, or has Cole Woody found some speed under that 3 to go ahead and maybe challenge for this top spot? This time by, it's 4 minutes left in the race. Looks like we're about aiming around 3 laps to go this time by, as we're coming up on the 12 a.m. slot on the East Coast. We welcome, you know, those 3 p.m. early guys. I mean, what am I saying? Guys who are 3 minutes ahead, which is kind of impossible, but whatever. that was awful. But okay, regardless, 3 laps to go in the race as Trafari tries to pull himself forward, but Kilo Hankins and Henry Tabor are having a battle of the century for this podium spot. Bronze medal on the line for this number 72 and 43, but looks like Tabor's going to go ahead and cross this number 72 back over. Kilo Hankins back up front, but Tabor has been harassing this number 72 for the time being, and we'll just have to see if Tabor, oh, looks like Hankins there with the go-kart line trying to fend off this 43, and oh, Tabor that time by, he overshot the corner and goes wide. 3.8 is the gap between that number 9 and number 3, so Cole Woody has definitely found some type of speed between Connor Trafari and himself. So, is the gap going to be close enough for Cole to maybe make this a battle for the lead? Or has time run out for this number 3 of Cole Pauken? 3 laps to go at the line. 2 minutes remain. So, by the looks of it, we are going to have, I'd say 2 laps left upcoming for this white flag. This time by 2 minutes and 20 on the dot that the iRacing session reads. And this number 9 of Connor Trafari just doing whatever he can to pull himself out to the front. Unfortunate for Garrett Hess, wrecking on the front straightaway, pulling a huge block on this number 3 who goes a bit wide, but that's fine. Cole trying to do whatever he can to maintain order. And looks like Connor Trafari is actually going to come up on a bit of lap traffic. So, Scott Spanos, too slow on the racetrack, is going to get lapped by this number 9 of Connor Trafari. Now the question is, will Connor Trafari have a hiccup trying to roll himself around this number 8? I'm pretty sure that'll most likely be a no, because Scott Spanos is obviously a well-stout driver and will get out of this number 9's way. But if that were to be the case, that might be what Cole Woody may be looking for this second spot. But speaking of spots, 3rd place on the line yet again. Kilo Hankins has been all over this number 43 Henry Tabor, but cannot make the pass on him at the moment. This battle for second has been going up in flames as 1 minute remains across the line, and we'll have to see if this number 9 of Connor Trafari can hold his ground. But Scott Spanos upcoming right on this number 9. He's gonna have to actually catch him on the straightaway, so Trafari has to pull himself a bit left. Has to dive in a bit more deeper than he'd want to. So, will this give up time? Oh, he's sideways, actually. That might have lost him a bit of time between himself and this number 3. So, what will the gap be across the start-finish line this time by? The gap at the moment is 3.8. So, Cole Woody is going to have to pull off a miracle to put himself up on Connor Trafari as he exits this final quarter. This time by, we're going to see the white flag for this number 9 of Connor Trafari. 1 more lap to go for his first ever ACOG win. Cole Woody currently sits in 2nd. Henry Tabor in 3rd. And Kilo Hankins in the 4th spot. Battle for this 3rd spot has been ongoing for these past, I'd say, 3-4 laps. But at the moment, Kilo Hankins has now pulled himself a good gap over this number 43 of Henry Tabor. But right now, all eyes on this number 9 of Connor Trafari, who has pulled himself now by 4.1. So it might be a lost cause for this number 3 of Cole Woody, who's now fallen off to 4.183 seconds outside of Trafari's grasp. So this number 3 is going to have to settle in for this 2nd spot. But luckily for him, it'll be a podium. But unfortunately, 1 short of winning this event. Trafari into the inner portion of this road course. So this, of course, the full version of Okayama. And Cole easily around Cole easily around Scott Spams, excuse me, for the final penultimate time. All Trafari has to do is just work himself through these next 2 corners. Next 3. And he will be an ACOG iRacing victor. Here for tonight, working up the uphill into these final 2 right-handers. Connor Trafari has been winless in the ACOG iRacing series up until now as he works himself through the final corner. Connor Trafari finally victorious here at Okayama. Checkered flag is out, and a 9 across the yard first will win here in Japan. Cole Whitty is going to come up second, and this battle for third is going to come down to the wire between Keloa Hankins and Henry Tabor, which will not be much because Tabor is going to have to settle in for the 4th spot. Congratulations to the number 9 of Connor Trafari, and we will be back for interviews as we pull in this 9 into victory lane. But before we do that, we want to go ahead and go over our order. Trafari, 4.5 over Cole Whitty, winning it here tonight. Keloa Hankins in the... Car Trafari, P1, Cole Whitty, P2, Keloa Hankins, and round himself out in the 3rd position. Henry Tabor is going to settle in for 4th. Spanos rounds himself out top 5, and Garrett Hess, Austin Runkle, unfortunately, did not finish here for tonight. We'll be right back right after this. ACOG iRacing MX-5 League will come to a close, and we'll wrap this broadcast up as we interview Connor Trafari. Welcome back here live, ACOG iRacing Mazda MX-5 series. We're going to go ahead and drag in our interviewees here for tonight. We want to give a congratulations as well to our race winner for, of course, winning tonight's event. Into the booth goes this number 9 machine of Connor Trafari, winning his first ever ACOG series event here tonight. Connor Trafari in the most disturbing paint scheme I've ever seen in my life. Connor, congratulations, man. That number 9 in victory lane. Connor, well, you had to hold off a hard-charging Cole Whitty there at the end, but luckily you got consistent there toward the later half of the event. What you find in that number 9 machine to put yourself in victory lane?
Block Hess until he messed up and held up 3rd. And then just kind of pull away. That's kind of what I did.
Yes,
honestly.
sir. Yes, sir. That number 9 pulls himself away, makes it a 4.5 second lead to win it over Cole Whitty in that number 3 machine. Connor, Is this your kind of mojo here with this road racing? Not road racing, excuse me. Road racing paralysis here. Are you aiming to go ahead and maybe pick up a championship by the end of the 6 weeks? 6 weeks. Holy crap.
I mean, like, I do a lot more, like, IMSA type road racing, so, not really Mazdas, but I'll probably be decent in the Mazdas, considering I just won by, like, 4 seconds.
All right, man. We'll have to see on if Connor Trafari can translate this into a championship, but his first ever ACOG iRacing win here tonight at Okayama. Congratulations, man. But before we let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
This amazing scheme that I know you love
Disgusting.
is amazing. I don't know who made it on Training Paints, but thank you.
Yeah, okay. Connor Trafari, the number 9 in victory lane. We'll go ahead and see him next race, man. And we'll drag him out, and we'll have to go ahead and drag in this number 3 of Cole Woody. And I don't know what went wrong, but fortunately for this number 3, a good recovery, but unfortunately that lap number 1 did not go the way you intended it to, going off track and might have cost yourself a chance at victory here tonight. Woody, congratulations on 2nd place. What happened there, lap 1?
Well, I thought the car would stick going into turn 1 until I realized it was cold tires and it didn't stick. It was hard. It was hard to pass. We were sitting there for like 5 laps, and I'm like, "Am I ever gonna get out of 5th?" But unless the tires got heat in them, and we were able to drive way up to 2nd, we had a chance for a few laps there, but we just couldn't run Cotter down. I guess me, ACOG, and 2nd place just goes well together the past couple weeks or so.
Well, Cole, it's just the first race, so what maybe might be a championship run for this number 3 machine. Cole Woody rounded himself out, this Ohio native machine, inside the podium spot. But Cole, I mean, we obviously see you on the oval 24/7 just about. What just clicked to you here tonight, this number 3 machine in 2nd place?
For once, I actually practiced. We were good. We were fast in practice. Then we went to qualifying, and I'm like, well, if I can put a good enough lap down, I could probably get them to notice me. And luckily, we were able to get that pole lap down. But if I didn't choke it going into turn 1 on lap 1, I probably still would have finished 2nd because Connor probably would have ran me down because he was just so good during the race that it was hard to get around him. I think he led every lap, so I was good for a lot of the track, but he was just consistent lap after lap, and I was too inconsistent at times. So, yeah.
All right, but 10-4, that number 3 of Cole Woody rounds himself out 2nd spot here tonight after winning the pole. Before we let you go, any sponsors want to take care for tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank a Miller Lite beer for giving me the opportunity to make it to 12:10 here on the Eastern Seaboard. And I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, and my parents.
All right, buddy. 10-4. Cole Woody rounds himself out in 2nd place. Congratulations, man. We'll go ahead and see him next race.
Thank you.
And we're dragging one more person in here for tonight. Winning that huge duel in the 3rd position is that number 72, the Hawaii native, Kilo Hankins, in this number 72, P3. And, man, you had a hell of a battle there with Henry Tabor. Talk me through it.
Honestly, I was just trying not to mess up the whole race because during practice and qualifying, there were not 2 laps where I just didn't spin out during like some certain corners. So it's good that I was able to keep the car straight the whole time. Henry, we just swapped positions back and forth at least 3 to 5 times during the race. It was great. I mean, we just raced each other as clean as we could, and I was able to go out on top, but it easily could have been the other way. So I'm just very glad to have been in that. And Hess ran pretty well too, but until he messed up that final corner and tried to block. But yeah, overall, pretty good race.
Yes, sir. Between yourself and Henry Tabor, you swapped at least 3-4 times there for those final 2nd half of the race. But, I mean, huge respect there with not only you, but Henry Tabor as well for racing each other cleanly and keeping yourselves safe to this checkered flag. I mean, walk me through that battle. How'd you get that third position?
There were I think there was I don't remember when I passed him the last time. It was probably 2 or 3 to go. I don't recall how it happened. Everything was just a blur. But I do remember having to defend on that class lap because I messed up on one of those right-handers in the middle of the track and lost about a couple tenths, and he had a huge run on me, but I had to block that inside. And essentially, if I had that inside of the corner, I was gonna be able to clear him for the rest of the lap. I know it's not a very good description, but I don't know. There's just been a couple times where I've had a slip and he's gone past, and then vice versa. So it's been a very even battle.
10-4, man. Kilo Hankins rounding himself out 3rd position on the podium here for tonight. Congratulations, man. But before we let you go, any sponsor want to thank you for tonight?
I want to thank everyone in that top 5 who ran a great clean race, especially Tabor for the entertainment and the battling. I want to thank you for broadcasting, and other than that, yeah, um, just hope everyone has a good night after this.
All right, by 10-4, Kilo Hankins rounds himself out in P3. We'll go ahead and see you come next race.
See ya.
And that was Kilo Hankins in that number 3 position. Number 3 position. But that will go ahead and end off tonight's broadcast. So thank you all for tuning in here live for this small event. ACOG iRacing Mazda MX-5 series. Round number 1 rounds himself out with this number 9 of Connor Trafari in victory lane. But until next time, same time tomorrow and the same time next week on Friday, we will see you live at USA for the Street Stock series. Good night.
Oh, there isn't. This is gonna be a wash.
Hey, no.
Huge
There's
legacy on the line earlier.
yeah,
He
we
dropped
don't
it.
we don't talk about what happened a moment ago. So
Why is all your news in French?
my
So
news in
what?
French.
Oh, never mind.
Are you